and welcome back to Cult Movie Club. We're nearing the end of the month of April now, so I thought what better time to go through what Blu-rays I've got this month. There has been some sale activity this month with Arrow, the Easter sale, and also the 88 films 2 for 15. I've indulged in both. There's also some bits and pieces that I've picked up from various CEXs as I've been out and about, and if you stay tuned towards the end of the video, I've got some VHSs to go through also. So I'm going to do this a bit differently today. We're going to do the Arrow stuff first, and I'm going to finish with that stuff, but we're going to start with that. So here we go. First title is Brian De Palma film. I've been watching quite a lot of Brian De Palma recently, and I saw this really cheap for £6, which is a really good price for this. Really good central performance from John Lithgow. It is Raising Cain, which I highly recommend if you have not seen it. Next up, Mega Time Squad, which is an Australian movie that I really enjoyed. It's got some really out there ideas. Relatively short as well, clocking in at just under 80 minutes, so it doesn't take up much of your time. It is quite a fun watch. Next is the Count Yorga Vampire Collection, which contains Count Yorga and the Return of Count Yorga. Now, I watched the first one, which was quite good. It had a lot of good atmosphere. I think it was made in 1970. I've not got round to the second one yet, but I do plan on watching that. That was one I got out the Arrow sale. It was only £5. Another title I got out the Arrow sale. It was only £5 that I have not seen is The Sacred Spirit, which is a Spanish film that I really like the trailer for, and I saw some good reviews. It looks very experimental, so I'm looking forward to watching that. Just waiting for the right time. Next is a film I had seen before, which is very out there. I did understand it. I rewatched it after I picked it up, and I did understand it a bit more on this viewing, but it's still really crazy. It's still, how did this get made material. It is The Visitor from 1978, which has got a really good cast. Lance Henriksen leads this cast. Absolutely bonkers, but very entertaining. Next is The Boondock Saints, that I picked up for £6 from CeX. It had been a while since I've watched this. I watched it in the early 2000s, I think. And I didn't really get it then, but I wanted to rewatch it because obviously there's a real good central performance from William Dafoe in this film, which is very out there. So I picked this up because I wanted to rewatch it. I did enjoy it. So that's the Arrow stuff. I picked this up from CeX. This is the 101 Agfa release of Treasure of the Ninja. I've got some of the Agfa titles, and when I see them cheap enough, I do pick them up. This the quality of this film is not great. It's a lot like a film that I've got on an Agfa range called Jungle Trap. It looks like it's ripped straight off of VHS, which I believe it is. It's one of those so bad it's good kind of films that you kind of see on YouTube. It was quite entertaining. It was slightly long at 105 minutes. Next, the film I wanted to rewatch called The Proposition. I picked this up from CeX for £2. I'd been looking at a BFI release, but it's not really come down to a price that is, doable for me. It's kind of stayed around the £15 price mark. And then I saw this for £2. I thought, you know what, I'm just going to get this because I just want to rewatch it. I'm not really interested in having a big deluxe version of it. So it'd been a while since I've seen this. I did really enjoy it originally. It's got a great cast. So looking forward to doing that again. Next is a film called Crawl that I've been looking at for a while, and I saw it cheap enough, so I picked it up. I really enjoyed the trailer when I saw it, and I really enjoyed this film. Loads of tension and suspense all the way through this. I highly recommend to watch this if you see it cheap or if you see it on streaming. That is a recommendation. So we're on to the 88 stuff now. The first one we've got here is Black Cat, which I got on the 2 for 15. Again, I looked at a trailer for this and really enjoyed the trailer. It had a really good soundtrack, which I was hoping would be in the film, which is. It's very much like La Femme Nikita, the Luc Besson film. It's kind of like a redo of that, but it's got its own kind of vibe. Again, like I said, the soundtrack to this film is great. The first half is, like I said, a lot like Nikita. There's a lot of action, and the second half, the action comes down a little bit. But it was really enjoyable overall. And the next one is made me slightly physically sick because I was eating it at the time, which was a mistake. It's Ebola Syndrome that I'd been looking at for a while. It piqued me interest when Vinegar Syndrome released it, but then 88 announced they're releasing it not long after. This film is everything that everyone says it is. It's pretty disgusting. It is very entertaining. And again, onto something a bit grim, which a friend at work turned me on to. I was already aware of it. But he lent me a copy. He lent me his copy, and I watched it, and I actually thought it was all right. And then it was weird because then the day after I saw it in CeX for quite a cheap price because it's really rare. So I just thought it was a bit of a sign, so I picked it up. It's a 88 edition of Bloodsucking Freaks, which you've got to take as a satire, because if you don't, then it's a very grim watch. But obviously, it is a satire of the theatre and stuff like that, and if you take it like that, it's quite enjoyable. So, yeah, that's all the Blu-rays that I picked up this month. So, like I said, it's mainly sale activity there, and a few from CeX. A lot calmer this month than previous months. Obviously, aware that I've got to tone it down because I've got to store all this stuff at the end of the day. However, we've got some VHS to go through here as well. So these have been gifted or have been bought very cheaply. So the first one is a John Woo film starring Nicolas Cage, which is not Face Off. It is Wind Talkers, which got kind of blasted when it came out in around 2002. However, I do enjoy it. Is it a great war film? No, not really. But it is quite enjoyable. I don't own this on Blu-ray actually because, well, I don't know why. I've never seen it. I think there is a UK release. Not seen it anywhere, so maybe I'll keep a lookout for that. Next is a classic, and again, Brian De Palma film. It's Untouchables, which is absolutely amazing gangster film. If you have not seen it, you need to get on it. It's got a great cast of Robert De Niro, Kevin Costner, and Sean Connery. I did see this I didn't see it when it came out in the cinema because I was only a kid. However, I did see a re-release, I think around 2005 time at the cinema, which was absolutely epic. That is a great film. Next is a film that I don't think I have seen, and if I did see it in the 80s, I don't really remember it. It is Iron Eagle with Lou Gossett Jr., who sadly passed away recently. I think I have seen this. I think it was one of them films that was on in the daytime quite often back in the day. However, I don't really remember it too much. So I'm going to have to kind of look out for this at some point and see if I can find it anywhere. I don't think it's ever had a UK Blu-ray release, but we'll see. I'll see if I can catch it on the streaming at some point. Next, so these two were gifts off my mother that she saw cheap. So this, it's a classic film, True Romance. This is the ex-rental big box version. I don't really need to talk too much about True Romance. It's an absolutely great film in the 90s with a stellar cast. Gary Oldman is one of my favourite. He's only in it for like 10 minutes, but he's absolutely fantastic in it. As is Dennis Hopper, Christian Slater, pretty much everyone else in it, including Christopher Walken. Let's not forget about Christopher Walken, because that scene is absolutely amazing. Last one is classic Tim Burton film, Beetlejuice. We've got a sequel to this coming in September, which I'm really looking forward to. I'm hoping don't mess it up and do a good continuation of it. Fingers crossed. It is Tim Burton coming back, so hopefully we should get a good film. Classic film, Beetlejuice. Don't really need to talk about it. And that is everything I picked up in the month of April. Did you go into the Arrow video sales or the 88 sales? If so, what did you get? Like I said, I've still got some watching to do here. I've still got some films to watch that I've got from previous months also. My watch list has just come down from 30, which I'm quite happy about because when it gets to 30, it stresses me out a little bit. I've still got a lot of watching to do, so I'm going to try and not buy as much next month so I can get on top of stuff that I have to watch. However, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you again soon.